Let me show you how a financial statement in Power BI natively would look like, right? So if I just add a matrix or table visual, I will see something like this, right? So I'll add my actual values, my plan, I'll break it down by account and account group, okay? This is what I get. I can expand, and yeah, that's it. I can sort by the accounts, but that's pretty much it, right? So no additional information, just numbers. There has to be a lot of like formatting done to even like get anything out of this, right? Now, I will show you a different way of getting this done, and this can be done by using Zebra BI visuals. In this case, we will use a Zebra BI table visual. We will again add the same values. So we'll add a value and we'll break it down by account group and account, right? And as you can see, the visual itself will start building visualization on top of it, right? Then if we add a comparison value, which again has a placeholder for it to follow the standards in terms of formatting, like the notation here, and also for the variances, we now get the variance built in. And now it takes only one field, right, to actually, I mean, you can manually invert and actually build the P&L statement, right? And this is Zebra BI specific, so you can build a P&L statement like manually, or you can even drag and drop a category class to actually build the entire thing for all three financial statements, for balance sheets, for cash flows, and for income statements. So we are subtracting the costs, we're building the gross profit, and we now can do all of this. And on top of that, we can then add commentary. So if we have comments linked to our data, we can add the comments and they will be placed at the data points, right, with markers that actually showcase the comments that are manually entered, of course, by your users. Now, this means, right, where I change the dimension, I also change the comments, because this is all dynamic. It's built into the visuals. So if there's no comments in that particular time frame, right, I will not get commentary if there's no comments for that particular account. Again, it's all dynamic. It's built in additional insights that the users can bring that is not featured in your data, right? And this is important because we want to have storytelling, right? We can even add additional lines. So you can right click on a particular line and just build your custom formula on top of it, right? So I can build gross margin in percentage and divide it by revenue, format it as percent, make it italic, and have it displayed as such, right? It's now built into the visual. Now, the commentary that we added here and additional things, these are Zebra BI specific, and right, you can even like show resize the commentary. You can play around with the column structures and how you want to show certain elements. You can switch the views dynamically, and on top of that, you can add this additional breakdowns. And from this, only this specific view, like this one, you can go into like a month-to-date, year-to-date, full-year comparison view. And all we needed to do from that basic breakdown, where we have like a comparison measure and so on, you can drop a dimension for period calculation to split this by different groups. And all of these are correctly scaled between each other, right? Now, the benefit here is that you can actually hide certain elements, right? So for the full year where we don't have yet the data present, we simply can hide the comparison between actuals and forecast, or bring it, of course, back, right? So in this case, we can simply hide the actual to forecast comparisons from full year, and we switch to the forecast to plan comparisons for the remainder of the season. And this is a standard financial like use case, right? We want to see our forecasts for the remainder of the year, but it's simply not native in Power BI to be able to like showcase just that particular amount of data. And it's just the level of detail that you want to see. And of course, you can change between different views, maybe like more numbers, but then you can customize each and every one, right? So this is all customizable to have two separate views for different use cases. And then again, you can use these group placeholders for the standard fields like quarterly and monthly breakdowns. Again, showing analysis at the right level of detail. You can also use this for business units views. Again, any dimension that you use, you can use this. And with tables, of course, we have a high information density. So when we're looking at like relative variance charts, we might want to switch from like a chart type or a table to something that still highlights where the changes are, where your action is needed, right? So this is something that you can also do. Now, as I said, there are specific use cases where these income statements have to, of course, use tables, like in this cases, but there's also a use case for charts. So in that case, we want to use charts for time trend analysis, right? And this can easily be done by, again, using the Zebra BI chart. And there you have like several chart options available to you. But again, it's all focused on variance analysis, and it will be built into the visualizations that you use. Now, when you want to present trends, you simply drag and drop the account groups or any other dimension into this the group placeholder, and we now have the overview of all of the accounts, right? The group trends, and if you want to understand the variances closely, you can just break the y-axis, even change between like absolute and relative variance, and this is all dynamic, all at the fingertips, that and standard information that you want to include in your financial reporting. Now, on top of that, right, you want to, as I said, present trends and forecasted information for the remainder of the year. And if we have data up to a certain point, right, for instance, actuals up to September, but then as we don't have our actual data yet for October, the Zebra BI visuals will automatically switch between a plan to forecast comparison for the remainder of the year. And again, this can be used for all charts to see or even forecasted trends and analysis in long term, right? And we can reuse the objects that we have, right? So the month-to-date and year-to-date period switch that we use for the grouping to like even slice and dice the data in different views. Now, I mentioned that the data analysts and financial analysts role has also changed, right? And it's not just that you're presenting flat numbers each month, but you want to also add insights, storytelling elements, and like compound annual growth rates that you want to like build on the fly. So in this case, we can use something called the annotation layer, and this can be used to bring in like compound annual growth lines. You just go to this add annotation section and you add those compound annual growth rates for all the business units simultaneously. So you can see and communicate the trends and changes of the trends and how they correspond then maybe between a revenue to gross profit, right? We see, okay, we have an increase in revenue also in this comp business unit, but there's a decrease in gross profits, and how does it correspond to our operating income in the end, and so on, right? So do we see like a steady improvement over time on all of our different, let's say, business units, markets, and so on? So these are additional insights that are at your fingertips with advanced visualizations. And of course, we want to, of course, have like certain ability to add and store the commentary on the visual layer itself. So that's also a possibility. Right? You can have commentary stored in the backend, but you can also add commentary through this annotation layer. So where you can tell the visual under which conditions you want to store this comment, and then this comment will be stored on the visual layer. So for instance, I want to add a comment here on the operating expenses, you simply write it in. Now, this new comment, again, will be stored under these certain conditions for selected filters, and it's another way of building this storytelling features, adding certain information, or you can even like add highlights to certain charts to even draw the attention of your users in the end to this particular charts. Now, in finance, of course, you want to be able to build those waterfalls, right? Like how to actually showcase how you achieved certain results. And again, for this, we can use the Zebra BI charts. You simply drop the values into the placeholder by a different account, and then those can be, of course, sorted manually on the cash flow statement, right? Once you actually have them in, right, you can basically invert and assign certain values to achieve the right waterfall in this case. And in this case, you can basically indicate a result for, let's say, cash of beginning of the period and cash of ending of the period, just as a click, right? So you can even break the y-axis, but there's also one thing that's maybe even better in this case. If we want to showcase charts, or we want to enable better readability on structural breakdowns, right? We're not dealing with time trends. We can use a vertical axis like this. So it's really easy to build all those objects for financial statements. So these are the visualization parts, the storytelling, collaboration parts that you can add on top of all of your visualizations within the Zebra BI visuals to build a robust cash flow statement, balance sheet, and income statement, and then break it down for the right level of detail on different summaries.